Hello, my name is Turya Bhatkar and I'm just a girl. But what does this girl have to offer to you? Well, I want to show you a new mental framework, a new mindset to look at the world with. We live in a world of information and it often feels like a maze of instant gratification and short form content. Because of this, it can be difficult to tell true from false, right from wrong. One opinion not aligning with what the majority says feels like social suicide. And it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to feel like every time you have an opinion that's slightly different or a story that's not on trend. It doesn't mean that you have to feel like you're committing social suicide. And now let me tell you some stories from my life that help me both realize and question these notions. The pandemic. The pandemic was a confusing yet transformative period of time for all of us. For me personally, it made me question my identity and its relation to the world around me. Every time I opened social media, one text message or one infographic or one post, it felt like either the next doomsday was rushing and charging towards us, or we'd found the panacea to all major world issues. Now you may be curious, why is that? Why is it that we're always seeing things this way, as either right or wrong or black and white? Well, it's because of the way the media presents information. We have a very black and white framework of showing our information to the world, and this can lead to problems, all from anxiety about unknowns to political extremism. The media makes us believe that these big, larger-than-life issues have shallow fix-it-all solutions, that these issues that do not only involve one person, a couple of people, a city, a state, or even an entire nation, have these shallow fix-it-all solutions. And now I saw it in the Stop Asian Hate movement. The Stop Asian Hate movement, I would say, was largely due to fear-mongering. This led to the spread of hate speech and hate crimes. It led to a loss of life, injuries, a loss of property, a loss of wealth, a loss of memories. Viruses originate from everywhere. That's established. Everywhere in the world there would have been one virus that's come about, and it might have been a big deal or a tiny deal. But here's the thing. Why is it that only during this time did we spread so much hate and violence towards East Asians? Yes, it was because our world was turned upside down, but I don't think that's it. I think it's those age-old stereotypes that keep on eating at us. It's those age-old stereotypes that are beaten down to the ground. And here's the thing. If this virus originated from America, do you really think that the populace would be having the same reaction, making the same jokes, committing the same crimes? I don't think so. I also saw it in the way famous politicians advised people to inject chemicals into their bloodstream, claiming it would cure COVID. That's ridiculous, isn't it? And here's the thing, jumping onto each surface level solution you find is a slippery slope, a recipe for disaster. We would find ourselves grasping onto whatever authority says. Like really, people did inject chemicals into their bloodstream. But at the same time, we would march towards authority with pitchforks. And now because of all this, I finally realized that hey, I should be more balanced in the way I think about things. I shouldn't be seeing things as two extreme ends of a spectrum, but rather an entire spectrum. And I found my words for this in the most unexpected place. A school in Ladakh. Not only did this school help me gain new perspectives, but also a deeper understanding of my own opinions. We were accompanied by Vinod Sridhar, who introduced me to the iceberg model of thinking. Now, the iceberg model of thinking consists of 4 aspects. The event, or the tip of the iceberg, what we see. Then the pattern, or the story, or the second tier of the iceberg. The structure, which is the reason why this issue or situation is occurring. And the mental model, which is the origin of this issue. Now I want to talk about binge eating to relate it to this model. You will find yourself binging every day and you'll think, hey, is this because there are these binge foods in my house? So you remove all the binge foods from your house. You think that's going to solve the problem. But it doesn't, because those binge foods are easily accessible at a supermarket, at a social gathering. And who knows, you might find yourself binging on foods you once found safe. But if you try to see binge eating from a pattern level, a structural level, or a mental model level, maybe you'd solve the problem. Maybe if you saw binge eating as a response to you under-eating throughout the day, or as a response to stressful social situations, you would realize that it's a lot deeper than it seems. And maybe eventually you would correlate that binge eating to stressful childhood traumas and situations. And now, what else does the iceberg model deal with? Is it only understanding situations? Well, no. It also deals with fear-mongering. Let me take a highly relatable, highly relatable experience that everyone goes through. Artificial intelligence. It's the talk of the town, let's be real. My mom one day barged into my room and yelled at me, AI is taking our jobs. I was skeptical. I was like, there's no way. Because here's the thing. Throughout history, we have viewed changes as the enemy. There was one technological progression, you had people scared for their lives, for their jobs. But in the end, what happened? Everything turned out fine. We saw it in the introduction of the printing press, religious and political revolutions, the boom in e-commerce, and now the introduction of AI. So I want you to think, every time a change occurs, is it really the enemy? Or is it maybe a way for you to increase your potential infinitely? So now to conclude, I want to say that change isn't the enemy. Oftentimes the way we perceive things is. In fact, the earth is basically the definition of change. The way the earth works is like a medium for change, right? And you can't call the earth your enemy. In fact, the earth is the reason you exist. Change is the reason you exist. The only thing is, when we perceive things with fear, when we let our fears inhibit us, we will see change as a weakness. But when I've seen humans let go of the fears inhibiting them and perceive these changes for what they really are, we have achieved human greatness. So I want to conclude by saying that perception is not the enemy. It's not your weakness. It is both your strength and a weakness. It's a double-edged sword, just based on the way you use it. Thank you for listening.